Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Constance of The Reader, and today I'm sitting on the floor of my living room because I'm going to be doing a video about all the books I have from Book of the Month Club, and we're going to be informing you if I read them or not. And I'm gonna give you a little hint. A lot of them I haven't because I have quite a lot. So I have a whole shelf full of them, and not all of them even fit on this shelf anymore. So I'm gonna try to be fast because I've actually filmed this before and I hated it. So I'm gonna try to go quickly and da-da-da-da. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so this is a book that I'm actually going to start reading next month, and it is Transcendent Kingdom by Jesse. I took the dust jacket off. That usually is when I mean business that I'm gonna read a book. If I put the dust jacket back on, I'm probably like gonna set it down. I think this is one of the first books I got from Book of the Month Club. Yeah, September of 2022, or 2020, I'm sorry. So it was either 1 month before. I might have started in August, but yes, I haven't picked this one up yet. I love Jesse though. I really loved Homegoing, so that's why I chose this book in the first place, because I like their previous work, but I just have not gotten around to reading it. I believe it's under 300 pages, and that's why I was like, I think I can knock it out. But let us see really quick. Yeah, it's a little over 250 pages. So I'm hoping that I can finish this quickly. Next is a book I will be reading next month with my sister and my mom for our family book club. And it is The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I got this in March of this year. Basically what we're doing for our book club is we did a little random picker thing, and it's like spin the wheel. I got to choose first this month, so I think it's just gonna go like from youngest to oldest. We'll see how my sister and my mom feel, but I did a poll on Instagram and on Twitter, and everybody voted for this one over the Lucy Foley book. So, okay, she's getting read. Really excited about it. My sister and my mom have actually already started reading it, so I don't know if they like it yet. They want to keep it a secret until it's time to talk about it, but I let them have a little head start because I tend to read these pretty quickly. Next up is the book I did read, and that was The Death of Vivec Ogee by Akweke Emezy. I picked this up this month, so I'll be talking about it more on my wrap up. Very, very short, quick read, but very, very good, because I don't want to give too much away. I did kind of figure out what was going on before we got to that part where it's like, okay, here's the twist. But I did think that it was a really good book. It's also really short. It's a quick read. I'm pretty sure I read this in essentially a day, just not in one physical sitting on the sofa. And it was really good. Here are some of the newer books that I got for the month of June. So I have not read these books yet. And it's Woman of Light by Kali Fajardo Onstein. Yeah, I just liked the way it looked. Actually, yeah, in June. Sorry, I think some of these were add-ons that weren't from the month of June, but this was one of the books of the month for this month of June. Next is The Change by Kirsten Miller. That was, oh, it just says fantasy reads. It doesn't tell me. Okay, so this was just an add-on then. Don't know what it's about. I read the back. I think it's a mystery, fantasy type situation. That's why I chose it, also the cover. And I also got Still Lives by Maria Hummel. I mean, I just think this cover is very interesting. I think I also got it because it's under 400 pages. I'm not sure what the category is, but oh shit, this is from May 2018. So this is not a new book, but I did choose this add-on because I think the other reason why I got it was when you have Book of the Month, you see the book and then it gives you like a little description, like little key things about it. So one book might be it's over 400 pages or it's a feminist read. I believe this one said feminist read, so that's most likely why I got it. Next, I got The Hacienda, and this was from last month by Isabel Cañas. Honestly, cover by, but a few other people did choose this. I think I did a questionnaire on Twitter of like, what are you guys choosing for May book of the month, and a lot of people said The Hacienda, so I was really excited about it. It looks really interesting. I believe it's like mystery thriller. Next, I got The Cartographers by Pink Shepherd. So this is actually from the month, a month or two before May, I believe. I wanted to choose this book but I was kind of on the fence because I believe it's 400 pages or more. So I kind of sat with it and I was thinking like, oh man, do I want to get something? Do I want to invest like that much time in a book that's long, is that long? Because, you know, I think I've mentioned this before. I'm becoming like, as I get older and as time is going on, I'm getting more like, I don't want to say intimidated, but like, I'm not reaching for long books anymore. But there's just something about the description and the cover that made me like keep coming back to it and think about it and be like, I really want to read this. So I chose this one and I can't wait to read it eventually. And I also got Crying in Hmart by Michelle Zodner. And this is a really short book. I think this is also under 250 pages. It's a memoir. I've heard tons of people have cried and been very emotional about this. So I am absolutely ready for it. I've got this. I actually think I might want to pick this up next month, but we'll see. I've got a lot on my plate for the month of July, but you'll hear about that in my TBR video. Alrighty, I also got The Bad Muslim Discount by Syed M. Masood. I got this because the cover looked amazing. I think this is supposed to be like a funny mystery type book. It's contemporary fiction, and like I'm always like on like contemporary stuff, but I just feel like you could not pass up that cover. So I got this one. The Vanishing Half by Bennett. This one was in April 2020. I have never read anything by Bennett before, but I've heard good things about this one. I believe it's about two sisters. They are both biracial, and one is able to pass as just completely white, so she lives her life outside of her community that she grew up with her sister that was predominantly black with her white family. Her sister stayed in the community that they grew up in, and then I believe that the sister that was white passing comes back eventually later on in life, but that's about as much as I know about it because I really didn't want to watch reviews of it because like this is one of those kind of books, kind of like when it comes to mystery, like once you tell someone what's happening, then you know the whole book. So I am excited to get to this eventually. And I also read Alice Feeney, Rock, Paper, Scissors. So this is a book that I read. I did a review of it. I just decided, interestingly enough, after the first time I tried to film this video, when I was like, oh, all these books that I have that aren't really that long, I should see about reading them. And I always do this every time, so I'm probably going to end up picking up one of these books I talk about as well and just like knocking it out because I'm just weird like that. But I did a review on it. I actually really liked this book. It was my first Alice Feeney book in the first place. I thought it was really interesting. I liked the twist. I didn't see one of the twists coming, but I liked it nonetheless. I won't get into it. I won't even give a little simple thing because you can watch the review video I have and I'll put it in the cards. Next, I have Lucy Foley, The Paris Apartment. I've never read anything by Lucy Foley before. This is the one I did the poll with people, and like this or Book of Cold Cases, and nobody chose this one. Nobody chose this one on Instagram. On Twitter, it was really close, but the Simone St. Jane one beat this one out. So haven't read this one, but really excited to read it. The Verifiers by Jane Peck. This is supposed to be a mystery thriller, I believe. And I think it's going to be more, I'm wondering if it's going to be more cozy mystery type situation, not like scary mystery. And this was the one where I chose, this was the month where the Cartographers came out, and I just was like trying to decide which one I wanted. I think I chose this one instead of the Cartographers. I'm excited about reading this. Imposter Syndrome by Kathy Wang. Haven't read it. Don't remember what it's about. Honestly, every time I pick it up, I'm like, I don't even remember, like, I don't remember anything about why I chose this one. So it has to be a mystery thriller. The cover's actually really pretty. I love the pink. The Neighbor's Secret by L. Allison Heller. I'm pretty sure this is another mystery thriller. I tend to pick at least one mystery thriller every single time you choose for the month, for Book of the Month Club. A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. Haven't read it. Again, don't know what it's about. I'm pretty sure this is like a fantasy, I think this is fantasy thriller, possibly. I think there's like magical realism in this one. I can't quite remember. No, maybe it's the next one I'm about to talk about. That's okay. There's somebody I follow who read this and didn't rate it very high, so I'm optimistic, but you know, we'll see what happens. And A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. I think this is the one that has like the magical realism aspect to it, but do I know what it's about? No. I think this one is about a cult. Possibly. We'll just have to see. It does seem interesting though. I was going to, of the books that I have of Book of the Month, I was going to choose for the book club. This was going to be one of them as well, but I was like, I think I didn't go with it because it has magical realism in it. So I went ahead and passed on it, but I will eventually read this. The Golden Couple by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. Haven't read it. I think we get the point. It's like some type of domestic thriller. It looks like it won't be that hard to pick up. It's under 300 pages. The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I don't know how to pronounce their last name. This actually I did read. This was my first book by this author and I really, really liked it. I also read The Maidens, but I didn't get it through Book of the Month. I know that you really shouldn't like compare the two because they are different, but I preferred this one to that one. I really didn't see the twist on the twist coming with this one, but I thought it was really cool. And you know, Silent Patient, basically it's about this woman who may have killed her husband many years ago, and after they found her and his money, she hasn't spoken a word. She ended up in an insane asylum, and there's this man who's always been obsessed with the case, who's become a doctor and wants to basically work there to see if he can crack her and like get her to speak. And then there's much more to it than that, and there's a twist that I really didn't see coming, but I thought it was really interesting, so I would absolutely recommend this one. The Last Flight by Julie Clark. I haven't read it. It's been on my shelf for quite some time. I think I got this in 2020. Yep, June of 2020. I really do need to pick this up. And you know, I think what I might do as a challenge, I might read all of the books that I have that have been on my shelf the longest. And you know what I'm thinking? Now I'm thinking maybe I should put them on my shelf based on, ooh, that's a good idea. Like newest versus oldest. Oh, that's kind of a smart idea. Because right now, I know you can't see it, but I have them set up like kind of by genre, like roughly. So I might change it up. So if you've read this, let me know how you liked it. I'm sure I'll like it well enough. You know, it's a mystery thriller. I feel like it's really hard to like totally ruin those, but you know, anything is possible. And then I also have Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Morena Garcia. Heard good things about this book. It's really not even that long. I tried to pick it up, I believe, during like the spooky season, and I was cycling through so many different books. I'm a mood reader, so even though I say I'm going to pick a book up because I took the dust jacket off, that's not always true, like I said. But yes, I've heard that this author is really great. I haven't read the book yet. I haven't read anything by them, although I do technically own another and maybe 2 other books by them that I got for free on NetGalley, but I haven't read those either, so I'm a terrible person. Now we're getting to the Riley Sager books. Okay, Home Before Dark. This was my first Riley Sager book and I loved it. It was so good. I would absolutely recommend it. And you know, to be honest, I'm pretty sure at this point, besides the newest book that just came out, which I think is called House Across the Lake or something, I own pretty much every other book by Riley Sager. I've only read like 2, but that's on me. This one was really good. Haunted house, you know, possible unreliable narrator, to like a dual perspective type situation, and I would recommend this book so much. I really, really liked it. Next is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I did read this one. I read this in pretty much a day. I thought it was really, really good, although I didn't rate it that high because it was fairly easy to figure out, but at the same time, it's like the main character who we follow, I believe her name is Charlie, was so infuriating. But I think it's like one of those books where, because you can knock it out pretty quickly, I think it's worth a read, to be honest with you. And it's so short and fast paced. I mean, it's literally taking place in a night, so you can really read this honestly in one shot. And I also have The Last Time I Lied. Never read this one before. Somebody else I follow, and of course I can't remember her name now, even though I just watched her YouTube video. She's a bigger booktuber. I think she said that she actually, this is like her favorite one by Riley Sager. So don't remember what it's about. That's okay. Haven't read it, but I will eventually. Alrighty, so a name that I struggle to pronounce every single time. This is by Jennifer Saint, and it is Ariadne, I think. This is like a retelling, Greek myth retelling. Obviously haven't read it yet, but it seems pretty short. Maybe this might be one I pick up next month just to kind of knock it out of the huge list of books that are piled up in front of me, but we'll see. Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. This is like a fantasy. I don't know if this is like first in a series or a standalone. Sometimes I'm not super picky with the books that I choose on Book of the Month. Sometimes I just pick to pick, and I think this was one of those that I did that with. This is the story of Camelot is hers, so I don't know if this is like a retelling where she is Arthur. We'll see. If you've read this, let me know in the description box. I mean, let me know how you liked it. I also have Star Daughter by Shweta Thakrar. Heard good things about this one. I think this actually is a series of books. I'm not quite sure, but I got this because of the cover. It looks absolutely beautiful, but it is fantasy, and I do think this is it's over 400 pages, so this is one of the ones I got early on. It's young adult. It doesn't say what month, but oh yeah, Harper Teen. But I'm pretty sure I got this before I came to that conclusion that I was like, kind of burnt out on long fantasy, even if it's YA fantasy. Although, you know, to be fair, and let me know if you agree, I do think that YA fantasy, well, I actually think most people would agree. Lord have mercy, it's so loud outside. I bet y'all can hear that loud ass truck. YA fantasy seems to be like so much easier to get through than adult fantasy. So I'll probably finish this fairly quickly, but we will see. Oh my God, can you guys see the stack of books in front of me? Let me try to make it look nice. Ugh. Can you see that? I don't know how low, but even if you can't see that, look at that. Hear that slap? Lordy, that's how many books I have. I got some romance. The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. I got this because the cover is beautiful. I feel like I never see books that are like this color purple, but you definitely would see it as a romance because it's so pretty. Haven't read it, but want to read it very soon. The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. This is the only like book I've ever read by this author. I actually really liked it. I thought it was really cool. I like the characters. It's Quan and Anna. Anna just recently got kind of dumped by her boyfriend that she's had for a while. She finds out through this breakup that, you know, the ways in which that she has existed in her life, maybe because she is autistic, because she sees a therapist. And that's kind of like a, not a shattering moment for her, but it's definitely like not what she was expecting. Then there is, you know, something that happens within her family. There's like an illness that happens that causes her and her family to kind of be forced to be around each other. Her mother and her sister are very hard on her, especially her sister. They become caregivers, which becomes too much for Anna. She wants to just like, you know, have a one-night stand, and so does Quan. Quan is this hot guy on a motorcycle who also had like a situation. He had cancer and he lost a testicle, so he feels a little bit like he is not man enough, which was very sad. But yeah, I ended up really liking this. I feel like the third act miscommunication thing, I mentioned this in the no disclaimers book tag, that I feel like that was dealt with better with this one because there's so many circumstances going on in here. It's a romance, but at the same time, I guess it's not your traditional romance because there's a lot of sad, dark stuff going on, you know. I just feel like it was dealt with in a way that seemed more realistic because based on the way that Anna is, it makes sense that that would happen, but they dealt with it in a way that I thought was really good. I also felt like the spicy moments in this book were actually pretty hot, and I liked that about it. It wasn't too much. It wasn't like, whoa, okay. But at the same time, it seemed like it would be like a natural thing, like a hookup thing that you would probably have in real life. And last, a book that I have read, These Violent Delights by Chloe Gall. Huang. I've actually read both books, but only this one was for book of the month. This was her debut novel, and I really liked this duology, although I prefer the first book to the second book. It's just my personal preference. I really liked it. It's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. It is really interesting, but I think because I went so long in between reading the first and the second book, and there's a lot of political intrigue going on in this series, that by the second book I kind of was like, I am struggling to remember a lot of stuff. So it's a series that I want to reread eventually, but I still think I'm always going to prefer the first book to the second. She also has a new duology coming out, and I believe that the first book is called something Lady Fortune, Foul Lady Fortune, which I do want to read. If I ever get around to making an anticipated releases video that I have saved in my notes app, that will be on the list. So a little spoiler for you all. And there you have it. Those are all of the books that I own from Book of the Month Club. And that is if I've read them or not. Good God in heaven. I mean, this is only one stack. Okay, there's another stack in front of me. Just a lot of freaking books. But you know what? I'm going to be like a little sneaky person, and I'm going to cheat a little in my book club, because I am going to make the vast majority of the books I choose books from Book of the Month Club because I have so many and I really need to read them. I don't know if I could commit to having 1 month where I only read Book of the Month Club books, but I might need to do that. But I do know one thing: I need to read at least one of these a month, especially for the rest of the month, because it's getting a little out of hand. So with that being said, I hope you liked the video. I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but just for those who don't know about Book of the Month, obviously it's a monthly book subscription. I believe it's $14.99. You get to choose like one book, and that one's always free, and then you can add 2 additional add-ons. And honestly, you know, when it comes to a paperback, a hardcover book, you're looking at $28 to $30+ for one of these. Especially depending on the genre. In my opinion, I think that fantasy books can definitely be far more expensive in hardcover than maybe like a mystery or a romance. Although luckily most romances are paperback. But with that being said, it's really nice because, you know, even though you'd think it might be really expensive, it really, I think the last order I did only cost me $23. So I had the free Book of the Month Club. I did 2 add-ons. The add-ons are basically like $10, and you just can't get a hardcover book that's new and not used for $10. So I think it's worth it. If you want a discount code, I don't know, let me know in the description box and I'll give you mine. You know, lets me have some points too. But I think it's worth it. It's really cool. It's got a decent variety of books. Like, it seems like there's always an option in some kind of genre. I don't see a lot of nonfiction like that I tend to read. Hopefully that will change someday, but you know, you never know. You know, there obviously was a memoir in here. There was a book that I saw that I bought not on Book of the Month, Trick Mirror, I think it was, that I saw on Book of the Month add-ons. I was thinking about, do I want it? I ended up getting into paperback anyway. All that to say, I think it's worth the money. Give it a try if you're interested. And I mean, if I have a little discount code, ask for it, I'll give it to you. Why not? I mean, what's it serving me? Nothing. So, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like the video. If you like it, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you know, I'll see you later. Goodbye.